Good evening, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of Boss FM Evening News with your host, Jesse.
And your boy Bryson.
My boy, Bryson, how you doing, my man?
Always good, man. You already know the new year almost here, so I'm doing excellent, my boy. How about you?
No, man, I'm over here. I'm doing pretty good. Yesterday it was a lot of rain out here in California. We don't get much rain out here. But with on the good side, really, there's a lot of snow up in the mountains, Mammoth, Big Bear. So I can't really wait to go and take a trip up, maybe to a cabin and have a good time.
I know that's right.
Wake the streets up. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Wake the streets up. Okay. Come on. Okay. Wake the streets up. Yeah, yeah. Come on. Wake the streets up. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
The officer of the scene of the fatal shooting of Andre Hill in Ohio's capital city last week didn't perceive any threats or see a gun at all. But that's not what a mistaken claim by another fellow officer who had killed him said. New details emerged on December 22nd of the shooting of the 47-year-old who was killed by Officer Adam Coy. Coy, a white male officer, said Hill emerged from the garage holding a cell phone in one hand and his right hand was not visibly seen at all. The city fired Coy on Tuesday, accusing him of incompetence with a gross neglect of conduct, among other charges. As Hill walked out of the garage, as stated by Detweiler, she said she didn't observe any threats from Mr. Hill, nor did she see a gun in his hand. Officer Detweiler said the former officer Coy observed a firearm, and yeah, there's a gun in his other hand, there's a gun in his other hand, and shortly after that, shots were fired into Mr. Hill's. And now, as other evidence is brought up, they said that there was no gun on scene, nor did Mr. Hill have a gun in his hand. So basically, this is another incident where another black man was killed at the hand of another white officer who has sworn to protect and serve his people and make us feel protected. And yeah,
As if 2020 was bad enough, like the racial tension between officers and minority groups have just been really taking over the headlines. I know it's not just 2020, and this is like a continuously long trend that has been happening for decades, if not centuries, with the history of how officers were first come into fruition. But that's really like some of the storylines that really took place in the midst of 2020, and really this all kind of went downhill in January with the tragic passing of the great Kobe Bryant, who fatally passed away in the late of January of 2020. Bryant, who was 41 when he passed away, and is called one of the greatest Lakers by many, but recognized by his Mamba mentality by majority of those who played against them, and also many analysts who have said that he's a mirror image of that man in Chicago, Michael Jordan. Similar to Jordan, Bryant has been signed to Nike for 2 decades at the time, and his line of signature shoes have really been going on for years. I know I have a pair of Kobe's. I don't know if you have some.
yeah, I had a couple.
Yeah, so his sneakers go beyond his game, but and like it also goes into his retirement as well, much like the Jordan brand. So the reason why I bring that up right now is because there's a story going out. According to Iranian American angel investor and venture capitalist Shervin Pishevar, he says that Kobe Bryant was considering leaving Nike to start his own sneaker company. In a series of tweets, Peshevar claimed that Bryant had met with him to discuss terminating his contract with Nike in the late of 2019 and starting his own shoe company called Mamba. This company would actually be owned by players themselves, according to Kobe Bryant as well. According to Kobe Bryant, from what he was being told. Peshevar shared a story saying that Kobe was unhappy with Nike's marketing and promotions committee with his signature line and felt that the sales of his shoes were struggling. Claims that Kobe did not trust Nike's judgment in design, which is why he really had a tight control on his line of sneakers. With big sneaker companies such as Nike and Adidas really taking majority of the sales and the markets on that in that area, many players have attempted to have their own sneaker line. Most famous with Lonzo and the LeVar Ball and the Big Baller brand. Um, along with other players such as Shaquille O'Neal, who opted to start his own brand, and Platinum, no, who opted to start his own Dunkman and Platinum brands. But if you really think about it, if you just look into the future, who would have known and what could have been if Kobe did leave Nike to start his own brand if he was still alive today, and how he would change the sneaker, corporation if with his lines of shoes.
But speaking of man on a great journey, this man and his great journey took a fall. So on Sunday, a man hiking in the foothills of north of Salt Lake City survived after plunging more than 100 feet and remaining stranded for hours. After hanging on a cliff ledge and after losing his phone in the fall, the 29-year-old hiker said he had been walking near the base of Ensign Peak. It was about a mile from the state capitol when he slipped around and made his 100-foot fall. He was unable to move as he remained there for 5 hours after losing his phone. This was reported when a group of homeless people heard him yelling and they called 911. There's now video showing the rescue workers with harnesses lowering him down the rest of the cliff.
Actors Chris Pratt and Sam Neill have both teamed up and really encouraged their followers to donate to organizations focused on helping people with food insecurities. With Pratt even making an auction to have a chance to meet him and help him do drive donations as well. Pratt made a tweet saying, "If your family has relied on the support of a food bank this year, please know you are not alone. If you've ever assisted a family in need, you know there's no greater feeling. 'Tis the season." He also shared a link to the fundraiser for greatergoods.com's Feed Thy Neighbor. The organization says Pratt is matching all donations to $100,000, and every dollar donated gives fans a chance to virtually connect with the star and receive a shout out during his star studded New Year's Eve Instagram live telethon. Donations support greater good charities and feeding America's efforts to address the hunger crisis in America.
That's
And
awesome.
with that being said, that is it for your Wednesday evening news. Please make sure to tune in tomorrow evening at 8:30 p.m. for more news and updates. And do not forget about that morning show that you guys really love at 10:30 a.m. for some entertainment news with Boss FM.
If you would like to rewatch our shows, as always, they'll be available for replay on our BossFM app and on all of our social media platforms. Thank you again for tuning in. It's your boy Bryce.
And it's your boy Jesse. Happy New Year's, guys.